Hello, everyone. I'm Amy Bigetti, your embedded librarian for this course. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about how to use the library's catalog and databases to find good scholarly sources for your research. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to use our library catalog. And let's just start with a simple search. We'll do President Woodrow Wilson. Now, I'm putting his full name in quotation marks. That way, we won't get results for everything that says uses the name Woodrow and everything that uses the name Wilson. It searches just for this phrase. Now, however, though, you can see that we go, and this is just too broad of a search. We get over 25,000 results. One of the first things I like to do is take some of the phrases or words that we found during our pre-research mentioned in the previous video. And we're going to limit this by putting "and" in capital letters. And then we're going to do the League of Nations. This was an early precursor to the UN, the United Nations. Okay, and let's hit search. Now you can see we went down from over 20 some thousand results to 400. And there's materials online, peer-reviewed journal articles, other open access online materials, and books that are held by the library. This means physical items. Now, because you're online students, you may not always want to look at these. So you might want to start, say, by limiting it to peer-reviewed journal articles. So let's click on this. And that's going to take us down to 100 results. And if you scroll down here, you're going to see another thing here, reviews. Now, not only can you go and say, I only want to see something, for instance, articles, you can also say, I don't want to see something by clicking on this little red box. It says exclude reviews. Book reviews are never scholarly sources, so I would exclude those as well. Now we've went down from 20 some thousand results to 63, which is a pretty manageable amount to use. So let's go ahead and skim through here and look and see if we think there's any articles that would be useful. All right, this first one, let's look at it, okay? Now, we can see here there's a quotation. You can go in here under JSTOR, and it's in our JSTOR database. You can click on this link. You can also sometimes find a little description here of what's in the article. I like to click on this link. If you're at home at this point, it's going to ask you to log in using the same username and password you use for D2L. If you do have any problems, contact the library for assistance. Now, once we're in this database and looking at this article, you should go ahead and maybe skim a little bit through here and sort of read and decide whether or not you think this is something you might want to use for your paper. Once you've decided whether or not you want to use this, go ahead and click on the Cite button, and you'll see there's a Chicago-style citation. You can copy this and paste it into your bibliography. Now, I do want to tell you that as you start your research, even at the pre-research stage for this course, you want to go ahead and keep a running list of all the articles and all the different sources that you're going to use for your work, just so you can go and keep up with them. Also, by copying the citation, you have a link back to your source, and it's a good way to start your bibliography and not wait until the last minute. Okay, so let's go ahead and X off of that. And also, if you want, you can download the article to save to your computer, so on and so forth. So that's one way to find articles on the database, on the library catalog. So let's go ahead and X off of this and this article. And then we're going to go back to the library. And you can see here there's 2 links to our online databases. Now, our online databases consist of ebooks and articles, among other things, but that's mostly what it is. And we basically have a few different databases, and they can be broken up by subject, or they can just be in one big, large group like the featured databases here. Now, first thing I'm going to show you is Academic eBook Collection. EBSCO eBook Collection. If you click on this, you can go and search for ebooks. Now, the cool thing is, because the library offers faculty members the opportunity to choose books to put in this database, your teacher, Tabby Garman, has put a lot of books in here. So I'd highly suggest you use this. So let's go ahead and do Woodrow Wilson again. And you can see there's 135 books, but we're going to concentrate again, and we're going to search for League of Nations. Now that limited down to 6 books. And so let's go ahead and look and see what we might want to look at. Let's try this 3rd book here. And as you can see, there's a description of what's in the book. But what I like to do is look in 2 different places. I like to skim through the table of contents. And also, I like to go into the index. Now, here we can see what's in each chapter. That doesn't give us the information we want. But if you look in the index, let's see, and you scroll down through all the different entries, you can see that there is a huge amount of material about the League of Nations in this book. So likely as not, this will be something you might want to use for your paper or your research. Now, once you've decided this is something you want to use, again, just like before, go to the permalink. Go to the Cite button and scroll down. The first one you're going to see is Chicago Style Author Date. And you don't want this one. Keep scrolling. And you want the Chicago 17th edition Notes and Bibliography. Copy and paste this into your bibliography. Again, it contains a direct link right back to this source. So you won't have to worry about not being able to find it later. One thing I do need to mention is this hyperlink up here in your browser, that will not take you back to the exact source later. Always use the hyperlink in your citation or copy and paste the permalink here, okay? Now, that's how to use the EBSCO database. So let's go back in, and we want to search, we probably want to go now and do a subject search because we want to limit our databases to the history databases. Okay, there we go, and hit search. Now this is going to take us to databases specifically about history. Now I've already showed you how to use the EBSCO database, and these databases are pretty much the same, so I'm not going to go over them again. The next thing I want you to do is I'm going to show you how to look in JSTOR. It's actually my favorite database for research. Now we're going to go ahead and do a simple search for Woodrow Wilson. And we're going to see we get 55,000 results. So again, we want to put those capital N in there so we can only search for articles and books that mention Woodrow Wilson and the League of Nations. Now, as you can see, we have over 5,000 results here. You could limit that down more by using some of those terms you wrote down in your pre-research or other things you found that you might want to explore when you've been reading articles even before you got here. So let's go ahead and click on this first book though, because everything's supported by relevance and so the best results are going to usually be on top of the list. So let's click on this. Now, as you can see, you've got your article here. You can skim through that to see if you think it's going to be useful. And again, just like I showed you before, you on the online catalog, here's the cite button. And you can go ahead and copy and paste that citation right into your bibliography. It's really not difficult. So let's go back in, and I want to go ahead and show you a Gale database, because even though once you've learned how to use one database, you can pretty much use them all because they all have the same filters, the same features. So let's go in here to U.S. history. Now we're going to do Woodrow Wilson, and you can see over 500 articles and a bunch of other materials that might be useful, 317 books. Let's go again and type in. You can actually type in here Woodrow Wilson and the League of Nations. Also in Gale, they have this search within button for results, so you can narrow it here as well. Let's put this in. And as you can see, that took us down to 71 articles, 2 books, so on and so forth. So this is going to be much more targeted results for you to look at. And let's go ahead and skim down here, and we'll go ahead and click on this article here about Woodrow Wilson. And what you would do is skim through the article to see if you think it would be useful. And if you do like it, you could go ahead and do the same thing like we've been doing before. Here's the cite button. Go to Chicago style, select that, copy it into your bibliography. You have a link back to your source. So again, not very difficult to do. Okay, let's go ahead and leave that database. One other database I want to mention to you is our newspaper databases. If you want a perspective, maybe bring in, for instance, what people in this area thought about Woodrow Wilson and the League of Nations. You can scroll down here, and there's lots of newspaper databases. And this will be especially useful for those of you who may be doing like Tennessee history, so on and so forth. I think I scrolled right past the article. Oh dear. Oh, here we are, newspapers.com Southeast Collections. And you can try all of these databases on here too. I just happened to pick one. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Woodrow Wilson and League of Nations. Again, just like we have been. And then we're going to add a location. So since we want to know what's happening locally, we'll say, we can go in and put in Sullivan County, and it's going to pop up Tennessee. Okay? And click on that and search. And you can see we have over 1,000 matches here. And you can skim for a bunch of these if you want. One thing I like to do is try to get more targeted results by limiting it by date. For instance, if you're using this as a primary source material, you might want to pick the time period of the League of Nations. And then you can just kind of skim through here and see what's relevant and what's not by opening up the articles. So here we go. And you can see Democrats for Woodrow Wilson. Both parties endorse League of Nations. For the Republicans insist on reservations. As you can see, there's an article here, and it's from the Bristol Herald Courier from 1919. And that's going to give you a good idea of what local people, local politicians thought about this topic. So this could be a cool source depending on what you're writing about and researching. I'm going to go ahead and exile that. Now that pretty much covers our databases and our library catalog. One last thing I want to mention is up here under library services, we have a system called Interlibrary Loan. If you go and if you find an article that doesn't have full text or a book that you want to use, but you cannot go and you cannot find it in our library or online, you can request that we try to get this from other libraries across the United States and the world. All you have to do is click on it and request an article, and these articles can be emailed to you. Usually takes 2 to 3 weeks, so this is another good reason why you should start your research early. Or you can request a book. Now, the books, you do have to physically come to a Northeast State campus to pick it up because they are physical books. But you can pick either the Blountville, Elizabethton, or Gray or Kingsport campus to pick up those items. Okay. Now, I hope that goes and gives you a little bit of an idea of how to use the library for your research. And the library really should be the first place you go when you're looking for scholarly secondary sources for your research. Now, if you have any questions about this or want more details, you can go and find my contact information under the content tab on your D2L class page, or my information is right here at the bottom that you can call or email me for more information. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day. Bye.